music is just always a balm for the soul, is it not? Thank you again. And here I thought you were going to sing Alice's Restaurant. How many of y'all know Alice's Restaurant by... All right, I love it. I love it. I've been listening to... the 4-part harmony with feeling. Don't forget. I've been listening to that one for days because it's hysterical. So next time. Yeah, next time. Yeah. Wow, so happy to be here this morning. I want to start with a joke because Terry Olson loves it when I tell jokes. You're right. A man buys a parrot and it constantly insults him. He tries everything to make the parrot stop, but nothing works. He gets so frustrated that he puts the parrot in the freezer. After a few minutes, he feels awful about it and opens the freezer and lets the parrot out. The parrot is shivering and it stammers. Please forgive me. I'm just wondering, what exactly did the turkey do? Right? I feel bad for the parrot and the turkey. But it's a reasonable question, right? She's just now getting it. That's my sister, y'all. I love that. She explained it. Exactly. But that's a reasonable question, right? What did the turkey do? Poor turkey. So just to y'all know that I like to share exactly where I am on my journey, always. And this week I felt like the turkey. I felt like I didn't have anything to be grateful for. And right? Crazy, huh? And just because I was under the weather. I've been under the weather all week. You may still be able to hear it. And I do not like being sick. I can't stand it. It frustrates me. Because guess what? I've got things to do. I've got a life to lead, right? And so just sitting on the couch. So anybody ever sit on the couch and just poor pitiful me?
Yes.
Right? Poor pitiful me. That's exactly where I was. Like, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do. Reverend Vita's going to have to go cover me. Thank you for doing that. It fades together. I really wanted to be there. Thank you for being there and doing that. So, like, that's the other part I think is, like, I'm going to put other people, like, it's an imposition on others because I need to be doing what is mine to do. But then here's the other piece of it is that you're reminded of what you take for granted, right? It reminds me of, oh, I always do have really wonderful health. I'm always able to do what is mine to do. Amen. So in this moment, right? So it makes you go deeper into gratitude. And so last week, I want to review what I talked about last week, which is gratitude. And because I didn't give a sermon on how to sit and complain on one's couch, right? I mean, that's not what I did. So I had to use what I said and remind myself. And Barbara Brown Taylor, who's an Episcopalian priest and professor, and she said, life isn't asking for my approval, so I'm going to make gratitude my habit. Wow. Life isn't asking for my approval. That's big, right? That's huge. That means that life doesn't need me to complain. Life doesn't need me to blame. It doesn't need me to criticize it. It doesn't need me to do any of those things that I get busy doing and think are mine to do, right? Life doesn't need that. And I don't need that. Gratitude, right? Because there's always, always something to be thankful for. And what she says is when you make that your habit, like for all the little things, when you go through the hardships, which probably you will, because that's what we signed up for when we came here to have this experience, gratitude will already be ingrained in you. You'll already have that. So you'll be able to say thank you for all of it. And then I shared with y'all what Wayne Mueller says in his book, How Then Shall I Live? And he says, we have lost our capacities for surprise and delight. So thank you, JP. That song was perfect. He said, instead we focus on what we do not yet have, what we have yet to be given. Why don't we have more money? Why don't we have more success? Why didn't I grow up with the family I wanted? Why didn't da-da-da-da? Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. And what Wayne Mueller says is go ahead, feel that anyway. That's okay. But you can also still be grateful. Isn't that beautiful? Hold whatever it is and be grateful. And guess what? I would imagine when you hold that too, then you're going to see that differently. Amen. Right? That's the practice. So we're continuing this morning with Brother David. How many of y'all have heard of him? Yes. He's known as the grandfather of gratefulness. He is 99 years old. He's a scholar. He's an author. He's a Benedictine monk. And he says that gratefulness is the true source of lasting happiness. Exactly what you said, JP. The lasting happiness. He's been a source of inspiration to the Dalai Lama, Thich Nhat Hanh, Desmond Tutu, Thomas Merton. He does interfaith dialogues. And in the practice I share with you guys, you will notice that interfaith connection. So I'm inspired by his book, Gratefulness, The Heart of Prayer. Because what he says about gratefulness, and it goes back to my title, Gratefulness Equals Wakefulness, he says that the more that we practice gratefulness, the more we will become awake to our lives. Isn't that beautiful? It makes sense, doesn't it? Because the more you are grateful, the more you're actually present in that very moment. And when you're present in that very moment, you are awake, you are alive. That's the idea. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a basic idea. And so he says, it awakens us to living life to its fullest. And he offers two ways to move into gratitude. First, he says that surprise is the starting point. Who knew that? Surprise, right? Delight. Think about young people. The smallest, the littlest of things. They're just so excited. I remember when Theo was really young and I'd say, what do you want to do today? And he'd go, I want to do everything. Like, just with so much, right? I mean, do we wake up like that? I want to do everything. Most often it's like, what's on my to-do list, right? It's a shift. It's a complete shift. It's beautiful. So he also teaches a gratitude practice that I want to share with you this morning. And it is, and I believe I've shared it in the past, but it's worth it again. Stop, look, and go. And I'm going to share that with y'all. So 2 things. I want to talk about how surprise leads us to gratitude and wakefulness. And then stop, look, and go. So we always have an affirmation. And this morning's affirmation is a little bit of a tongue twister, so bear with me. But it'll pay off. I live in grateful wakefulness.
I live in grateful wakefulness.
How's that feel? I live in grateful wakefulness. One more time. I live in grateful wakefulness. Because again, gratefulness is the same as wakefulness. That's beautiful. Gratefulness equals wakefulness. So, surprise is the starting point to gratitude. In his introduction, he offers 2 key points. 1, waking up is a continuing process. No one wakes up once and for all. There is no limit to wakefulness, just as there is no limit to aliveness. I'm going to read that again. Waking up is a continuing process. No one wakes up once and for all. There is no limit to wakefulness, just as there is no limit to aliveness. No one wakes up once and for all. Just breathe that in. Right? So when I'm on the couch having my pity party, and I think I'm awake, but you know what? Maybe not. But that's okay, because it's a process, right? Any of you, I know that I can beat myself up. It's like, wait, what? I'm still complaining about that? I'm still frustrated with that? Same thing. It's a process and a practice, right? And that's what reminded me and took me to Thessalonians, because what does he tell us? Pray ceasingly. It's the same thing. It's a practice. It's the same practice. Or Tara Brock, who says, if you are in this moment feeling whatever it is, that sitting on the couch feeling pity and not gratitude, let that be where you begin your wakefulness, right? That's the door to it. That brings you back to the practice. Then he also writes, it is risky to be awake to life, it takes courage. It is risky to be awake to life. It takes courage. Just breathe. Right? Because it is, right? It's risky to be awake in life. When I read that, I thought about all the different times in my life that I've had what psychiatrists or therapists would say nervous breakdowns. And I've had them many times in my life, several times, and I thought I was going to die. But thankfully, I had my spouse who's in the other kitchen working on the turkeys. But he would say to me, he's been up since 4 a.m. doing the turkeys, so make sure you tell him they're good. Tell him it's a delicious turkey, whether it is or not, y'all. He woke up at 4 in the morning. But thankfully, he's the one in my life who's always said, you're just releasing another skin. You're just releasing another skin. Because that is what I was doing, right? Becoming awake to what I felt like was just a risky life. And I felt raw, and I felt vulnerable, and it didn't feel good. Because when you become and you commit to becoming more and more awake, you're letting go of that armor. Have you noticed that? You're letting go of that armor. And in the beginning, when you start to let it go, it is scary. You know, and I'm so glad I had the blue blanket, because it's really scary. But then the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And one of my dogs shredded the blue blanket, which is okay. I don't need it now, right? I don't need it now. So, yeah. So what he says is that we must choose between risk and risk. We run the risk of sleeping through life, of never waking up at all, or else we wakefully rise to the risk of life, facing the challenge of life, of love. That's the idea. So clearly you guys have chosen to be awake, otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? So anyway, he says we get there by surprise. Remember what Wayne Mueller says. He writes it so often we have lost our capacity for surprise and delight. So we are here to regain it. He says he finds that, for example, when you see a rainbow, that's a surprise, right? Think about when you see a rainbow. How excited you are when you see a rainbow. If you're with somebody, you tell them, hey, look at the rainbow. You look at together, right? And you think, where did it begin? Oh, where does it end? And what I always say is, let's chase the rainbow. Can we chase the rainbow to the end? I always say that every single time. And I'm even more excited when you can see the full rainbow, right? Because that's not always. Now, do you feel that feeling? That's surprise. That's wakefulness. That's gratitude. That's a beautiful feeling, right? And so what he says to his brother David is like, that's how we live life. Imagine how we'd feel if we always lived that way. First I think, that seems exhausting. But then again, the criticism, the blame, the judgment, all of that, that's exhausting, right? But if you think about this way, it's like, it actually is like freeing. I can just choose to be grateful. I can choose to be surprised. I can choose to wake up to life. And what Brother David is saying is like, in this practice, we just keep doing it over and over. And then what do you think happens? It becomes natural. It's absolutely natural. Isn't that beautiful? It's absolutely natural. There's more I wanted to say about that. That's what I wanted to say. Dogs are the same way with this, right? I love spending time with young people and dogs, both of them, because they are so delighted in the smallest of things, are they not? Have you noticed that? I was blow drying my hair this morning, and my cabinet was open, and of course Toby noticed the ball, so he went and got the ball, and I was like, oh no, which means I got to throw the ball. So I'm blow drying my hair and throwing the ball, and then he brings it to me, and I pick up the ball, and there I am blow drying the ball. But I couldn't help but doing it because he's so excited. He gives me that toothy grin, and he's so happy. Again, gratefulness. Simple thing. It's a ball. But he's happy, right? That's the gratefulness. Surprise and delight lead to gratefulness, which leads to wakefulness. So the next thing, he gives us a practice, and that is stop, look, go. Have y'all heard that practice? Stop, look, go. He says, stop. That's simple enough, right? Just stop. Stop what you're doing. It's a gentle reminder to come back to your intention, come back to gratitude, come back to just being awake to life. When you stop, you meet the moment exactly as it is, right? Whatever it is, you just notice. Let me stop in this moment. Do y'all have a practice of that? I know I have to do that, especially when I'm like multitasking. I'm like, wait, just stop. Stop. I did it this morning. Did you print out your sermon? Did you not? Where'd you put it? Just stop, right? Stop. Collect yourself. Come back. Remember your intention. So that's the first thing. In unity, it means being present for the divine, that is the active energy outside of you and within you. Just attuning yourself to the moment like an instrument, right? Tuning yourself with the divine. And then he says, look, because when you look, you gain perspective, right? You gain perspective. Because there are times when you stop and maybe you notice yourself suffering in that moment, but then when you look, or when I look at the clouds and how they just like float by so easily, or the leaves on the tree, I'm just reminded of how effortless life can really be. I love that, right? It gets me outside of myself, which is another reason why I'm so grateful for you guys, because then I don't have to be stuck right here in this personality, because I can be a lot. So I get to be here with y'all. When we practice this perspective, we wake up to our lives, and it asks us to stay awake to the blessings of our lives, the gifts of every day, the privileges we have, the goodness that is life. And then the last one is go. The basic idea is living is meant to be active, right? Go, live your life, which is why I didn't like to be stuck on the couch. Go, be of service, right? And so many of y'all, that's what y'all do when you come here. And that is another piece of my gratitude. I am so grateful for how you come and show up. I am so grateful. Yesterday we did a women's group, and we did a collage together. But when I thought of the activity a long time ago, because it was something that brought me out of myself, and I thought, oh, others may enjoy this. But yet I was driving up here and I was like doubting myself. I was like, no, they're going to think it's stupid. They're not going to like it. It was ridiculous, right? And then I came and it was the most perfect, wonderful, Jackie was there, moment that we had with one another. Just connection, right? Just pure connection. And that's, again, gratitude. And we all said to each other, how grateful we are that we got to do this together this morning. It was such a beautiful practice. Gratitude. Thank you guys for showing up and coming and spending time with me and with us together. So I want to end with something he writes. He says, you think this is just another day in your life. It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you. Today, it's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now, and the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you learn to respond as if it was the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes that you can open. The incredible array of colors that is offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. Open your eyes. Look at the faces of people you will meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. All that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here. Like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. Turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water and drinkable water. A gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. And so I wish that you open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you, that everyone you meet on this day will be blessed by you just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. Then it will be really a good day. Amen.